Jason's been gambling for what seems like his whole life. He'll sit at a table for hours, winning and losing, but eventually walking away with nothing. The financial losses are bearable, but the thoughts he experiences when gambling, they're thoughts he can't deal with anymore. Jason realizes he needs to quit gambling, but how did he realize that? So many people have asked me recently, when did I know that it was time to stop gambling? When did you realize that you were addicted to gambling? Well, the sad truth is that it took me years of suffering huge losses and having horrible mood swings and depression as a result, in order to come to terms with the fact that gambling was doing more harm in my life than good. The mind of a gambling addict is incredibly difficult to understand, even if it's your own mind. We have an incredible ability to block out all the harm and all the problems that gambling has brought into our lives, but we have no problem remembering exactly how the basketball game went when we hit big on our wager. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the thoughts that I was having in the days leading up to me quitting gambling for good. Also, stick around until the end of the video, as I'm going to go over the 20 questions that'll help you to determine whether or not you are a gambling addict. My name is Rob, and I am a compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November the 12th of 2022, and since then, I've made it my personal mission to help others understand the reality of gambling, and also to offer resources to quitting gambling and living a life in recovery, if gambling has brought more harm to your life than good. Before I dive into today's topic, please take a moment to smash that subscribe button and drop a like on this video. I do work really hard to make this content for you. By doing those two things, you help me spread my message to other compulsive gamblers out there who may really need to see this video. Also, go ahead and drop a comment with your last bet date if you are a compulsive gambler. And if you're not a compulsive gambler but know someone who is or might be, please feel free to share this video with them if you believe that it could help them. How did I know that I needed to stop? If I was honest with myself, I pretty much knew from the start that I was gambling in a way that was dangerous to my mental health and to my wallet. I had this belief that I was in the top 1% of gamblers or something like that, and that these feelings of highs and lows were reserved for only the elite gamblers of the world, like myself. So from when I was 18 right up until the days that I was thinking about quitting, I was able to brush off the negatives and the periods of depression I got from gambling because the rush that I felt and the complete euphoria that it brought always made up for those bad moments. People want to hear that there was like an aha moment or an epiphany, but the honest truth is that the pain that I was always covering up with the rush of winning had finally tipped the scale, and even wins were not enough to make up for the lost friendships, relationships, the lost respect from others, and most importantly, the lost time that came with gambling addiction. For compulsive gamblers, it really isn't about the money. We tell ourselves that it is, because in the beginning, it absolutely feels like that's the case. But as time progresses, we stop caring so much about the money and it becomes all about the feeling, the rush that we get from hitting big or even from losing big. If it were about the money, we would have stopped after seeing how much damage had been done to our bank accounts. No healthy and stable person would look at an account that's consistently losing money and being drained and think that maybe if we do twice as much of the same action, that'll lead to better results. But we do it as gambling addicts every single day. The first thought that I had that really led me to quitting gambling was, how are other people becoming financially secure? I looked around at my friends and family, and though nobody's in a flashy Lamborghini and no one's living in a luxury mansion, no one was struggling like I was. With gambling, it's all or nothing. You win or you lose, and that determines your financial situation. Financial security doesn't come from uncertainty. If you don't know at the end of the day whether or not you'll be feeling like you have enough money or like you're completely broke, you're living a life of instability and complete randomness. Listen, I hated working the jobs that I had so far in my life, but there's more than one way to make money. We're living in a world where you can become a millionaire sitting in front of your laptop in your basement and talking to other people online. You can open up an online store in a matter of minutes. You can learn any skill you've ever imagined, heard about, or want to learn by going to Google and just searching for a tutorial on it. There are more ways to achieve financial freedom and security than ever before in history, but we're continuing to tell ourselves that we need some golden ticket, and that without that big hit from gambling, we'll be stuck in a life that we don't want to live. This is a mindset that many compulsive gamblers share. It's a mindset of immaturity and laziness. We're always looking for the easy way out, when there's hundreds of ways out that are harder but more rewarding, and they don't involve losing over and over and over again to the point of financial ruin. When I realized this, I immediately quit gambling, and eventually I even quit my job to pursue content creation full time. Now, whether this works out or not is yet to be seen, so don't go and do the same as me right away. But I know for sure that I'm using my time right now in a healthier way than when I was gambling, and that's what matters most to me. Now, the next thought that I was thinking in the days leading up to quitting gambling was, will doing the same thing over and over again ever lead to a different result? I tried nearly every type of gambling that you can think of, and I lost money doing all of it. People often say something like, Just play poker. You aren't playing against the house. But the reality is that very, very few poker players are profitable, and even fewer that are compulsive gamblers. Now, even if I were to win at poker in the long term, I'd end up giving it all back to the casino when passing by a craps table on my way out. Because again, it isn't about the money. It's about the action. As a compulsive gambler, your money is essentially just the fuel to keep the fire going. You're not worried about your bills or your future. You're only worried about where you're going to get the money to place your next bet. When I started to think about the fact that I'd spent 6 years gambling away my hard-earned money and my time in hopes that I would end up with a little bit more money when the day was over, I realized that I'd become hooked on the action and that I would never find myself winning to the point of financial stability or even financial success, because I would never break the cycle of putting the money back into the machine or back onto the table. The only way to live a different life is to change what you're currently doing. If I never stopped gambling, I would only have made my life worse in the end. For a compulsive gambler, it's important to remember that wins are just future losses. The third thought that I was having in the days leading up to quitting gambling was, who have I become? Now, I don't know of any kids who answer that they want to become a professional gambler when their teacher asks them what they want to be when they grow up. When we're young, the answer to the question of what we want our future to hold is made without any thought of financial reality. When I was young, I wanted nothing more than to be an ice cream man. He was my hero because I loved ice cream. I had no concept of finances, and I wasn't thinking about whether or not selling ice pops for $2 each day would lead to financial success. As we get older, we have our view of the world tainted by money, and when we don't feel like we've had a fair shake in life, we desire more, and we look for ways to make it happen as quickly as possible. This is why those in lower income brackets spend 4 times as much on the lottery than those in the upper income brackets. We're looking for a way out of our situation as quickly as possible. I had this same mentality when it came to gambling. I wanted to live fast and have everything in life handed to me. Of course, this is not to say that it's fair, that some people start off with more than others, but fair isn't reality. Just because something isn't fair doesn't mean it's magically going to change. I had lost myself and lost all of my ambition to be better and live a better life because I was looking for an easy way of getting the lifestyle that I wanted. I wasn't thinking about working harder. I was trying to work smarter and get that big hit so I could move on with life. I knew if I could stop wasting my time and money gambling, I could make something of myself. I could become the person that I always wanted to be, but I could do it in a way that didn't risk everything I had to my name. Since I've quit gambling, I've been working much harder in my life, but I've also never been happier. If we're always focused on the destination, we fail to realize just how much value there is in the journey there. We also fail to realize that the journey is the only way to reach the destination. There's no golden ticket. I knew that I had to stop gambling if I wanted to live the life that I had dreamed of. The same goes for all of you. Now, thank you for watching this far into the video. As promised, I'm going to share the 20 questions you should ask yourself to determine whether or not you are a compulsive gambler. These 20 questions come directly from the Gamblers Anonymous pamphlet and are not by any means my words. I take no credit for the content of these 20 questions. And Gamblers Anonymous has not endorsed this video in any way. I am simply sharing these 20 questions in good faith that they may help someone to realize that it's time to make a change in their lives. How they do that is completely up to them. Here are the 20 questions. 1. Did you ever lose time from work or school due to gambling? 2. Has gambling ever made your home life unhappy? 3. Did gambling affect your reputation? 4. Have you ever felt remorse after gambling? 5. Did you ever gamble to get money with which to pay debts or otherwise solve financial difficulties? 6. Did gambling cause a decrease in your ambition or efficiency? 7. After losing, did you feel you must return as soon as possible to win back your losses? 8. After a win, did you have a strong urge to return and win more? 9. Did you often gamble until your last dollar was gone? 10. Did you ever borrow to finance your gambling? 11. Have you ever sold anything to finance gambling? 12. Were you reluctant to use gambling money for normal expenditures? 13. Did gambling make you careless of the welfare of yourself or your family? 14. Did you ever gamble longer than you had planned? 15. Have you ever gambled to escape worry, trouble, boredom, loneliness, grief, or loss? 16. Have you ever committed or considered committing an illegal act to finance gambling? 17. Did gambling cause you to have difficulty in sleeping? 18. Do arguments, disappointments, or frustrations create within you the urge to gamble? 19. Did you ever have an urge to celebrate any good fortune with a few hours of gambling? And 20. Have you ever considered self-destruction or suicide as a result of your gambling? Most compulsive gamblers will answer yes to at least 7 of these questions. So if you are thinking about quitting gambling, but you're not quite sure where to start, you found the right channel. I post videos every single day here on YouTube and over on TikTok, where I do a live stream every night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is no easy feat to quit something as addictive as gambling, but it has been done by many people and is absolutely possible. If you were looking for a sign that it's time to find something better to do with your life and stop gambling, this is it. Thank you for watching, and as always, let's keep getting better together, one day at a time.